Good evening, welcome to the Goffstown Planning Board. This is our regularly scheduled meeting for the first Thursday of the month. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, and we'll begin the introduction to David, please.
David Pierce, I'm an alternate to the board.
Barbara Griffin.
Kimberly Peace.
Tim Redmond.
Scott Ozana, Town Engineer.
Mark Lemay, Select Board Rep.
Joanne Duffy, Planning and Economic Development Director.
Thank you, David. You'll be voting on all application business tonight. We have two correspondence items to handle. First one is, we all received a copy of the letter sent from the Select Board to the County Commissioners regarding the relocation of the considered relocation of the jail to Goffstown. So we have a copy in our packet. Joanne, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
This is, the study is attached to the letter, the study that the Hillsborough County
That one there.
did.
You have anything to add, Joanne, or is this just a notification item?
It's really just a notification item, and whether you have any questions or anything.
Okay.
Currently, we don't really have a whole lot of information.
Second item is a request from the Board of Selectmen to appoint a member of the Planning Board to the Goffstown Police Building Ad Hoc Committee. Do you know when they're going to meet?
No, I was told by Joshua that it would most likely be in the evening, but they were not sure because the committee hasn't been formed yet.
I appoint Bear.
Because oftentimes they're in the daytime when a lot of people can't make those meetings.
Yeah, the ad hoc ones.
So,
And he didn't think it would be like weekly or anything. He said it would probably only be like once a month or something.
well, I think before we appoint someone, I think we should find out when the meetings are going to be. Because if it's daytime meetings, we have to have someone who's available in the daytime. And if it's nighttime meetings, then more people would be available possibly. So
I could certainly ask that question. However, lots of times they don't decide until the committee is actually formed and has their first meeting.
So the point I'm trying to make is that the planning board, let's say I decided I wanted to be a representative, and if it was daytime meetings, I wouldn't be able to make any of them, so I would be a bad representative. So I think we should get the information
I'll
before
try.
we appoint anyone.
We're probably not, her point is, we're probably not gonna get it, so I guess the question is there...
Let me ask the question, is anybody here interested in being on the ad hoc committee?
That's the question.
That's the question I'm asking right now. Barbara?
I might go on it.
Kimberly, are you
I've
interested?
been around on this issue for a while.
No?
Yeah.
You're not a planning board member? I would be interested if it was evening meetings. I wouldn't be able to do daytime meetings. What's your schedule more like? Daytimes or evenings?
I'm pretty flexible.
So let's say that we have two people that are interested, and once we get an answer, one of us will be appointed,
Okay.
and we can do it in the rears and appoint that person at the meeting after the committee begins. All right. First application tonight is old business. Joanne, could you tell us what it is, please?
Yes, we have, it's for map 29, lot 62. We have a conditional use permit and site plan review hearing that was continued from the June 11th meeting. They're asking to add a residential duplex to a property that already has an existing single-family home. The property is located on Mast Road near the Cumberland Farms, 2 doors away from the Cumberland Farms gas station. The address is 12 South Mass Street. And they are back for further review from comments that were made on June 11th and a drainage report that was submitted since then, and some additional comments from the fire department that we've received.
So should we get the comments from the fire department before we ask the applicant to come up?
No, I think it's all part of the review. They are asking for 2 waivers, which were, so the application was accepted as complete and continued. However, there are 2 waivers that were not acted upon in June, so those need to be
We don't
addressed.
generally act on
One-
waivers early, we act on them
One
late.
was a lighting plan, and the other one was the fire truck turnaround in the driveway. At that time, we didn't have comments from the fire department about that issue, but they've since submitted that they're okay with it.
So we'll let the applicant tell us about that.
Yep. See here?
Any questions for staff from planning board members?
I have a question.
Please.
Joanne, was this the one that was asking for a waiver of landscaping?
Yes, and they're still asking for a waiver of landscaping.
No, we're not.
Well,
We submitted a landscape plan.
oh, I haven't seen that.
There's 2 waivers requested.
Oh,
and
I'm
one-
sorry. He submitted a landscaping plan, but he's asking that the existing landscaping be used, that you take that into consideration, because there's
Because-
quite a bit over there.
Because you told us there's 2 waivers and one of them is not landscaping, so obviously they're not asking for a landscape.
Page 4.
So one of them was landscaping, but then they just submitted the landscaping plan. The other one is a lighting plan,
That's what you told us, yes.
and then the fire truck turnaround.
Right, okay.
Joanne, can you just bring me up to date, because I missed the first hearing. How did we go from an application? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confusing imposed versus requests, so thank you. Okay, I got it. As to the 2 that are before us tonight. Okay.
And if you look under the completeness section, the 3 things that were listed, the architectural renderings, we do have those. The drainage study we do have, and the owner of record was incorrect. They did fix that, so those things go away now. But other than that, there's a conditional use permit that needs to be addressed, and there's a couple of other things that are lacking, mostly from the DPW, and there's a few things from planning.
Did you have a TRC meeting on this, Joanne?
We did.
Did Corey White attend the TRC meeting?
I believe so.
Corey, I think, sent in comments the first time around, but I don't think he actually had comments.
Right.
Because I'm back to one of the sewer commission's requirements is that every applicant that wants to hook onto the sewer system has to make sure that they get permission to hook onto the sewer before they spend all this money on site plan work, and I do not believe this applicant has been in front of the sewer commission.
So I have a listing of recommended conditions when we get
Yes.
that far, and one of them is sewer permits required from the sewer commission, sewer accessibility fee required.
What I'm trying to state for the record is that in the event that the sewer line in front of the property was insufficient for a new structure to add on to it, which is the sewer commission's decision, it's undersized or something,
Yeah.
the sewer commission doesn't really want to deny an applicant to hook up to the sewer after they spend a lot of money doing site plans and such. That's why the sewer commission has a regulation that they have to appear before the sewer commission to get permission recommended prior to spending money on applications. This is what that's all about, and it's been about for years, and it's been discussed time and time again.
I don't see any comments on here from Corey, which means I didn't receive any. Whether he said anything at TRC, I couldn't say for sure
I
because I
just
don't
want
have
to
my
make it,
TRC
get it on the
notes with
record
me.
for future applicants that it's entirely possible someone would be denied a sewer permit, and if they've spent $30,000 on engineering and they get denied a sewer permit, that's a very unhappy applicant. So I just want to put it on the record that that's the way it is.
In fact, it says on here, sewer department, no comments.
So that's just.
That means he had no comments, not that we
Well, then
didn't
I'll
receive
speak,
them.
we'll have to speak with Corey, see what he has to say, for future knowledge. Okay, so, do you have anything else, or does anybody have any questions before I invite the applicant to the table? Seeing none, we'll invite the applicant to the table.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mike Dahlberg. I'm the land surveyor that prepared these plans for Echo Property Management. And we have had quite a bit happen since our last meeting. We submitted a revised drainage study and design that addressed engineering comments for the two different storms. We met with the Historic District Commission, and we decided to add windows to the gable end facing south masts. I think 4 or 5 locations, so it would look more like the rest of the neighborhood. And there is a condition that we, even though we can use vinyl siding, it'd be clapboards with, which is in conformance with the rest of the neighborhood. We did revise the driveway location so that the throat of the expanded driveway is in the same location as the existing driveway. We're just gonna make it a little bit wider to the west. It does meet the fire department's standards for width and grade. We did speak with the fire department, and they agreed that a truck turnaround there is not practical and not needed. And the fire department had a question on the separation between the buildings for the fire separation, and we submitted information for that and answered their questions, and got an email back this week that they're all set with that. I think Kimberly had a question about the landscaping. So we went through the landscaping requirements, and we made an assessment of the existing landscaping on site, and based on the formula in the Appendix F in the landscaping, that we meet your requirements for landscaping.
Is there a note somewhere for that on the plan?
Underneath the location map for landscaping notes on sheet 4, upper right-hand corner.
Okay, I hadn't got there yet, thank you.
So Mike, the existing shrubs are gonna remain along
Yes.
the road? Okay.
Yes.
And
We can-
then I think there was a question before about, so the infiltration area looks like it has tree cutting involved with it. Are those trees included in your calculations?
That's the, that's like the brush line above, it's like 8 or 9 feet high.
Okay, so there'll be no tree removal for that infiltration area?
No.
Okay.
No.
So is there any tree removal going on?
Well, there's peach, pear, and apple that seem to have a driveway through them, so.
We're gonna relocate the
Gotcha.
peach, the pear, and the apple.
Oh, good.
And there's a small sumac type tree that's right on the edge of the driveway that can't be saved, and it's a weed tree anyway, so, and that was not included in the calculation. Other than that, there shouldn't be.
Okay.
Joanne, did staff review the applicant's assertion that they do meet the landscaping requirements? Is that staff's opinion?
Yes.
So can somebody bring me up to speed on so the three things on the original application were drainage study, but that's been done?
And it's all set. I didn't have any comments on it.
So
It's acceptable to
there
you?
was, so there's
I had a
no
couple
waiver
questions
needed for
they
that?
answered. They submitted it a while ago and responded to my questions
Okay.
to my satisfaction.
And the landscaping plan is no longer having a waiver request because
They did it.
they say they meet the requirements
Right.
and that they're not cutting anything down except the weeds, sumac, you can come cut some on my property too. And they're relocating 3 trees, so,
And there's still two waivers, one for a lighting plan and the other for the fire truck turnaround.
So what about the fire department's comments, Joan? Could you comment on those?
so before we get there, was that submitted after the last meeting, those waiver requests?
No, I don't think so. I think those were there from the start.
It was agreed,
Because I wasn't here, so I'm
it
going, looking
was
at the
agreed at
original
the last meeting
application.
that we should include the lighting plan.
Okay,
And
so
we
you
have-
got rid of 3 and added 2, lighting and,
Well, the fire truck turnaround was already there. We were working through that issue with the fire department at that time.
okay,
So I believe that even, we still have that waiver in place because the fire department,
Okay,
even though
because-
the fire department agreed we don't need it,
okay.
this board still needs to grant that waiver. And then for the lighting plan, there are gonna be lights at the exterior doorways. There's not gonna be any pole lighting or anything like that, so it's gonna
Oh,
look like
it's
a
gonna be
regular
typical
house.
side of residence house
Right.
and not much impact.
So I think that lighting plan is more towards that development down on the river where they have, 150 cars and security lighting and stuff like that.
It does look like on page 7, the fire department has no issues with the waiver request, or they actually said they approved the waiver request.
Wasn't that nice of them?
I didn't know they could just approve it,
It's nice of them to approve it for us.
Well, we redesigned the driveway to meet their
but.
requirements.
Yeah, all this other stuff that's listed, so like the 16-foot, the 20-foot clear distance, they did update the driveway to meet those. It's paved, correct?
Yeah,
That was just one of my questions. It's not a real comment or anything.
yeah, that was included in the, a paved surface was included in the drainage codes.
These structured distances are not my thing, so I'm not sure about those.
So the record, as to the fire turnaround, we don't have to have the record reflect that we agree with your language that it's an overkill, and just that you've met all the requirements for the fire department.
Let's just say that we coordinated the design with the fire
Exactly.
department and
Alright,
they agreed
okay.
that we don't need a turnaround.
All right.
And for the fire building separation distance, yeah, that was a 1.5
And satisfied.
but we satisfied the requirements.
I couldn't respond to that one personally, so.
So Mike, number 3 comments from the fire department is what you're discussing, but it also states, for supporting the load of the fire apparatus during all weather driving conditions. Does that imply that we need a cross-section of what the driveway's gonna be built out of?
Well, I don't think so
They
because
haven't typically required that.
they're-
That's a statement in our driveway regulations.
So what
if
if
if a fully loaded concrete truck can get down to that new foundation without collapsing the driveway, I'm pretty sure.
But it won't
the
be a
fire truck
paved
will be all
driveway at the
set.
time, Mike, it'll be a construction driveway, and there'll be site equipment on the site to fix the driveway if it gets damaged.
Well, my
I'm just
point is,
I'm asking, do we have does the fire department have a standard for what is suitable? Or are we just going
I
to,
think this is verbatim the wording that's in the regulations.
I find it inadequate wording then, because an applicant, and I'm not saying this applicant, but an applicant could put down 4 inches of gravel and pave it, and then the first springtime comes around, the fire truck blows right through the whole thing because it weighs 90,000 pounds. So I'm just, for future references, we need to come up with something better than it meets the requirement. Because what is the requirement?
This
We
is
don't
a-
have the requirement.
yeah,
But it appears we're all set for this application.
Well, I would say it's okay for this application because we don't have a standard, but for the future. Anything else, Joanne, you wanna comment on?
No, you need to go over the criteria for the conditional use permit. Vote on the 2 waivers. And,
Why are you recommending that this be continued?
just because there's so many things that need to be corrected. If you're okay with letting staff check on it, that's fine too.
Please just speak up.
So what is the conditional use permit for? What's,
To have the multifamily on, I forgot what zone this is in, RSBOD 1. I think that was
Not
it.
a lot of these comments on the plan are difficult if the board would be comfortable with staff. So, I mean, basically 1 through 7, the rest are kind of like our boilerplate ones. I don't know.
I'm fine with that if the planning board's fine.
All of my plan comments that I had were kind of cleanup things, like shows snow storage, unless the board really wants to see the snow storage.
It's a-
Screening for the dumpster wasn't shown.
I was just looking at that point.
So I think the silt fence is shown on the plan, but there's no call out and it's not shown in the legend, so that's really just like notation. And then the scale on one of the sheets is incorrect. But other than that, there's nothing substantial from me. And then looking through these other comments, I don't see anything. But like I said, it's up to this board, so.
All right, before we can go through the conditional use permit, Joanne, starters. I'm gonna let you read the conditional use permit criteria, the question, and I'm gonna let the applicant respond to it,
Okay.
so please start.
And you can find this on page 5. The first one is the use will be compatible with the neighborhood and with adjoining
Or abutting uses in the area in which it is to be located. Mike?
Don't we have,
Well, mine, what I submitted was the use would be, the use is specifically authorized in the ordinance as a conditional use. But we'll answer it the same way. The proposed multifamily use,
I didn't change the writing on here. I mean, I didn't change what it says.
oh, no, hold on. You skipped ahead a page.
I say, we have to go
Oh,
back to the
sorry.
15.4.1.4.
Oh, I skipped ahead, sorry. It starts on page 4.
That's why I was starting to ask the question, and I,
Okay. The use
I
is
stopped.
specifically authorized in the ordinance as a conditional use. The proposed multifamily use is a permitted use per section 3.11, table of principal uses. Item A3 on page
Item A on page 3.
3, okay, page 3 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. So, if completed as proposed by the applicant, the development in its proposed location will comply with all requirements of this section and with specific conditions or standards established. The proposed, and then the answer, the proposed structure will meet all
why don't we let
setbacks.
Mike answer them, Joanne? Because I would prefer if the applicant answered the questions.
Okay,
You ask him, let Mike answer, please.
The proposed structure will meet all setback requirements per section 4.4 dimensional standards of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. You want me to just read the questions and the answers?
I think Joanne should read them. She's our planning director.
okay, the next one is, the use will be compatible with the neighborhood and with adjoining or abutting uses in the area in which it is to be located.
The proposed duplex, in addition to the existing single-family home on the property, is the same as most of the abutting properties. There are 2- and 3-family structures or the Sudeca 10-unit multifamily development directly behind the proposed duplex.
Any questions? The use will not have a substantial adverse impact on vehicular or pedestrian safety.
The proposed relocated driveway for the existing house and the proposed duplex increases the more than adequate existing site distance looking towards the west and maintains the more than adequate site distance looking to the east. There is no sidewalk on the south side of Mass Road, so the instance of vehicle pedestrian interaction seems minor.
The next one is the use will have a substantial adverse impact, will not have a substantial adverse impact on the appearance and visual quality of the surrounding neighborhood. In evaluating visual impact, the planning board may consider architectural 1, 2, 5 and design elements.
The proposed duplex is situated towards the rear of the subject lot in a similar location as the former barn that sat on the property. Along with the mature vegetated buffers that exist, there should be minimal impact on the abutters. And I will insert here that we did meet with, at the time this was written, we didn't realize we had to meet with the Historic District Commission. And as a result of that meeting and agreement with them, the structure will be even more in compliance with the rest of the neighborhood.
And the last one is the use will be adequately serviced by necessary public utilities and by community facilities and services of a sufficient capacity to ensure the proper operation of the proposed use.
There is public water and sewer in the street directly in front of the subject lot, and the proposed increase in use should not overtax the existing utility infrastructure.
Thank you, Mike. All right. We're not gonna vote on anything until after the public hearing, so we'll discuss the waivers now. Joanne, the first waiver?
The first waiver is for a lighting plan.
Mike, could you please explain why you would like a waiver?
I believe that a lighting plan applies to much bigger developments, larger developments that require security lighting up on 25, 30-foot posts. And it being a duplex in town, I think there's gonna be just entry door lights by the garage and the exterior doors.
And will all your lighting meet our night sky requirements?
We can add that note to the plan and show them on the plan if you wish.
It's a requirement for shielding and such, so
Yeah, that's
as
fine.
long as you, for the record, you're gonna meet the night sky requirement standards?
Yes.
Joanne, what's the second waiver request in detail?
The fire truck turnaround in the driveway.
Okay. Mike, could you address that one more time? I know you have before.
Well, because of the shortness, the lack of length of the proposed driveway, in trying to get a fire truck turnaround in there, it would eat up half the lot. Well, not half, really half the lot, but quite a bit of it. And based on the grading and the location that we have, that we don't need it, and the fire department agreed.
Okay. Any board members have questions on either of the two waivers as the applicant has explained them? Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the applicant before I open the public hearing?
I do.
Please.
Mike, do you have any idea how much higher this building is than the landscaping, than the existing greenery that's on the boundary of this?
Oh, it's not higher.
It's not?
These are all,
It's just they look big on the building drawing looks
it
tall.
does, it does.
These townhouses with the garage underneath them all look huge.
So the finished building height of the proposed duplex will be at or below the peak of the existing house. But the first floor of the duplex actually sits 4 feet lower than the road, so it's not gonna be this gigantic imposing.
Right, because it goes down.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, Mike, I'm gonna open the public hearing. If no one wants to speak, you don't have to vacate the chair. At this time, I'm gonna open the public hearing. Anybody wish to speak on this matter? Now's the time to do it. There is no one here to speak on the matter, so I'm going to close the public hearing. All right, on the matter of the lighting plan waiver request, any more discussion on it, or is there a motion of it that needs to be made?
I'll make a motion to approve the waiver for the lighting plan request as the strict application of the regulations would cause practical difficulty, and the proposal will not affect the purpose and intent of the development regs.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
David, did you second?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion to grant the waiver for the lighting plan? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. Fire truck turnaround, I'll ask for a motion or discussion.
I'll make the same motion, adding as to the reasons that the fire department and the applicant, as represented by the applicant, have resolved the issue to the fire department's satisfaction.
Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion granted. On the conditional use permit, any more discussion or questions on the conditional use permit request? Then I'll ask for a motion, one way or the other.
I'll make a motion that we grant the conditional use permit. The applicant has shown that they are consistent with the standard requirements in section blah, 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 blah.
311.
311, thank you.
Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion on the motion to grant the conditional use permit request? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes.
Opposed?
One opposition?
No.
Okay. Board members, our board members okay to have staff administer the conditions of approval administratively?
I am.
All right, I would like a motion on that.
Make a motion that we approve the site plan with the conditions as noted in staff record.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yes, Dave, second.
Okay, so the board is authorizing the staff to complete the conditions of approval list administratively as recommended and shown on our packet tonight on page 8. There are 1 through number 33. Are we adding any conditions of approval tonight, Joanne, or are they?
About dark sky compliant lighting.
Yeah, we should add that comment too. I'll revise my
So
motion.
number 37 would be the,
Adding a note to the plan that any lighting would be dark sky compliant.
And a question for the applicant with permission. Do we need an updating drawing of what you're doing to comply with HDC's request?
You have that, they have that. It's in the
That's
package.
what was
Yes,
I
ma'am.
saw tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I
So we-
wasn't sure what side that was.
so we have 1 through 36, and Mike, you concur number 37 is to add the dark sky requirements to your plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Adding number 37. Joanne, is there any other action required, excuse me, on this application?
No, that's it.
So have we approved the application, or do we have to do a separate vote for the approval? By granting the conditional use permit, and the
This
waivers,
a
is it
site-
complete?
site plan
So
you need to-
Kimberly
Made
made
a
the motion to
the site
approve.
plan.
didn't hear
And
you.
David second, now we just need a vote on that.
Yeah, that's the motion to approve with conditions in the staff listing.
Okay. We talked about, yeah, okay, I got you.
I made a motion and David seconded. And I revised my motion to add that additional comment, which David also approved the motion.
Okay, motion to approve the site plan with the conditions of approval, adding number 38. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes.
Thank you.
Joanne, don't let me forget to circle back to the minutes at the end of the meeting, because I forgot to
Okay.
ask for minutes to be approved.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, we have a new business item, map 18, lot 60-2. Joanne, could you run it for the board, please?
Yeah, let me just get this tucked in. So, excuse me. Most of you are familiar with this site. We're looking at the plaza where the Rite Aid, the Starbucks, the bank, and the vacant parcel is adjacent to the Hannaford Plaza. This is the last vacant parcel on the site, and it's located on Abingdon Way. The site is zoned commercial, and the applicant is here just for a conceptual. They'd like to present plans for a 2-story, 12-unit multifamily building with more than adequate parking. As I'm sure you're all familiar with, the law changed like the beginning of this year, I believe it was, where the state statute has changed and now allows residential multifamily in the commercial zone with some modifications of sorts. Let me just get my packet here. Oops. I can't find it. What did I do with it?
Oh, Joan, we know that they revised
Okay.
the law. You don't have to give us chapter and verse.
So one of the items that they allowed the towns to do is to decide whether or not they wanted to put additional requirements on there to allow the building to have, in order for the building to have residential in the commercial zone, they said the towns can add a provision for a conditional use permit. They do have to meet the requirements of having, proper utilities, public water, public sewer, things like that. But they also said you could ask for a conditional use permit to not be required to have the residential on the first floor, because otherwise you'd have to have the residential, on the second floor. You'd have to have the residential on the second floor and the commercial on the ground floor. So there's a way to do it without that, which would be a conditional use permit by the planning board.
So the requirement is mixed use,
It's
first
a-
floor, commercial.
The requirement is a mixed use with the
Okay.
stipulation that you could ask for a conditional use permit to just have the residential, as long as it doesn't interfere with breaking up the intent of the district and just having like all residential and no commercial. This is a land use condo, so within that land use condo, you have the vacant parcel, the Starbucks, and the bank. I believe that's it. So since there are other commercials uses within that same property, they would like to talk to you about the possibility of looking to get a conditional use permit. But before they get into the expense of doing, engineered plans for a site, they need to get a better understanding of where they're going with this. So they're here tonight. Mr. Cruz is here, and Ting, sorry, I don't know your last name.
Ting Chang.
Ting Chang from TF Moran.
I have a couple questions, Joanne. Did you want to go first, Kimberly?
No, go ahead.
So when this original parcel was proposed, we had a limit on the number of, did the applicant ask for a limit, a certain number of sites to work on? And was this,
You mean a number of parcels?
yeah, so it's, and we did this, I remember we did some condominium ownership documents or something like that?
Yes, and this is one of them.
So, we granted the applicant permission to pretty much remove the park that they originally put in to add the bank. And now we're looking at another development on another part of the parcel, is that
Yes,
obviously?
this would be the last vacant parcel that has yet to be developed. The park was removed from the Franklin Savings Bank parcel and was somewhat relocated on the side of that parcel. There's a smaller park there now.
Extremely small compared to what the applicant told us in the beginning.
Could I clarify
No,
that?
no, you may
We're
not,
still
no,
talking.
not yet, sir. You'll have your chance. The other thing I'll ask about later, and it'll come up in the utilities part of the question and answers here. We'll go for that later. So does the board members have any questions for staff or for staff at this time?
Me.
Kimberly, please.
So Joanne, to your point, they're proposing a 2-story, 12-unit apartment building without any retail.
Correct.
So then the reason why they need a conditional use permit is because of that.
Correct.
The state statute says we have to give up our commercial space to provide housing. We have to allow this.
Right, yes.
I am not happy about that, but
Well,
okay,
that's
the
what-
state says that, then that's what we have to do.
The state in the commercial zone has opened it up where towns now have to allow for multifamily in the commercial districts. They left it up to the towns whether they wanted to put in the requirement for making it a little,
The mixed-use piece.
The mixed-use
So we
piece.
added the
so we
mixed-use piece to our
did
zone.
add that when we changed our zoning, correct?
So
So
we
they
could-
still do need permission to do only multifamily, they need the
A
conditional
conditional
use
use
permit.
permit.
Any other questions from board members for staff? This time I'd like to invite the applicants to introduce themselves and begin.
Okay. I'm Robert, excuse me, Robert Cruz, the owner. I'm with Ting Chang. She's a senior engineer with TFM. And first off, I'd like to clarify the park issue. My wife and I designed and built that with our own money. We maintained it ourselves for over 10 years. And at some point, we started to have problems. There were skateboarders, there were needles appearing in the park, and I could no longer get insurance for the park. There was nobody who would insure a private park at the time. I offered it to the town. The town did not want it. I had no choice. I could not be in the position of being totally liable for a park, and that's where it went. But it wasn't done by whim or any such thing, because we put a lot of ourselves into that park. It was a beautiful little park, and we would come at night and maintain it ourselves. But it did have to be insured. So let me just talk briefly about, this is the whole development. It started 20 years ago, 2006. I've been working on this since that time. This is the Rite Aid. We did all kinds of nice little things we thought at the time. We put in a rain garden here, although the Rite Aid people chose not to maintain that properly, and we never got around to taking them to court. Then we did the workforce housing down here. I believe there are 28 units, architecturally done. I hope everybody likes it. I do know a lot of the residents do. I've had 2 or 3 people say, geez, I love this. One guy says, I'm gonna die here. I've never lived in a place like this. So we have, that's well done. The Rite Aid was well done. It's unfortunate that it has gone bankrupt, meaning Rite Aid National. But one at a time, these are all being redone. There's 3 or 4 already in the state, and I do believe it'll be repurposed and be regular commercial built. Then the Franklin Savings have expressed an interest in the park after I had had it fenced because I couldn't do anything else. And then ultimately the town agreed that it'd be a good idea. I do think it's a nice little bank. We make no representation that the little park replaces the beautiful park that was there. But this is certainly something that we can't, you wouldn't have the problems that we were having in this park. I don't know if any of you ever went there, but it had rolling walkways. And that just turned out to encourage skateboard kids to go peeling around, running into people, causing problems. I think it's a very nice little bank, architecturally done. I think it's a good addition to the town, as I think the whole development is. If you look at it as a whole, we have the Starbucks. I think that's a good addition to this area of town. It's not that easy to get a Starbucks. Took a bit of work to kind of give this a whole look. So everything looks good. And we have this one empty lot that we can't seem to do anything with. The board wanted commercial retail. I have advertised internationally for 2 years now on LoopNet. I have tons of people that will do self-storage. I have tons of people that will do industrial, little industrial shops. That is not what we want. All of the other, our neighbors have supported 100% every project that we brought in to be ultimately turned down. Now we're down to, with the new law, trying to do a 12-unit apartment, not very big. We are talking about architecturally done, something that would blend in with the balance of the development and have something that we would all be proud of instead of trying to do something here that just won't work. We were even told one time to let a landscape guy store his equipment, his materials, and that'd be an acceptable site. Not to us, not to our neighbors. Okay, you just show them the tax thing. And we've gotten this tax thing through the town. They gave us this, you know, it shows how much tax these buildings are paying. And theoretically, I mean, I'm not the assessor, but this would certainly, value-wise, beyond the value level.
That's all right, I'll give it to David.
Of,
We can share.
the right. So there's a lot of potential money.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Cruz at this time? He's given you quite a bit of information. Okay, just want to make sure we keep up.
I got this. Pardon?
So I want to make sure we keep up with you.
Oh, okay. I got it through the town. So they're not my numbers on there. And as I said, I've tried every possible use out there, and I do come up with some that I'm not willing to do. I don't think it will benefit the town or my neighbors. And as I said, the neighbors have supported everything that we have proposed over the last several years. So 20 years is a long time. The problem we have, assuming that the board kind of likes this idea to finish out our mixed-use development, which I always thought it was from the beginning, and then somehow it inched into total commercial. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. But the problem becomes having retail underneath. Number one, it won't fit. If we put retail under, there's not enough parking. The building goes up much higher and becomes probably unacceptable to the people down below. And we don't have any prospective developers, buyers, or partners that have any interest in trying to pull retail over to this area. Not to mention, there are many, many vacancies right now in town. But it won't work. If we can get to the point of the 12 unit, I think we will really wind up with a development that everybody is happy with and go on with our lives. And I would like you to turn it over to Ting to explain the drawing.
Thank you, Robert. Good evening, all. Oops, I'm going to flip this over so we have a little bigger views of the plan itself, like the one that you have in front of you. So, like Robert mentions that this is a two-story, 12 units. The size of it right now, we're calling out a little bit over 6,000 square feet. It's still in conceptual stage. It might grow a little bit, it might shrink a little bit. If we move forward, we'll decide on how big the building's gonna be, but obviously it still meet the guideline, all the zoning intents as well. So as we try to figure out how many bathrooms or how many bedrooms will be in each unit. So that this footprint is an example. It might grow, it might shrink, but it's in the general footprints presently. As mentioned, that this particular development, it meets all the zoning requirement except that conditional use that we're looking for. It meet the front and side setback. It meet the lot building coverage. It's well below what's allowed. It's only 1.2% versus you can build up to 40% of the lot coverage. As well as the density itself is 15. It's allowed 15 units per acre, subtracting all the easement area, that which a couple of them in on the lot, and the 20% slopes, we allow up to 13 units. We're proposing 12. We are proposing 26 parking space along with the handicap as well to meet the ADA requirement. As you see, we are proposing sidewalk all along in front to connect with Starbucks as well, and also a grass paver type of access for fire truck. So that way we try not to pave, try to keep as much green space as possible. So we came up with grass paver instead. Along with, as Rob mentioned, this development started 20 years ago. So all the utility has been in place that we have thought it out and has been installed. So there is sewer, there is water coming out, underground electricities, drainage as well. So all these are ready for us to utilize and connect. With the only things that we're looking for is the conditional use. We're here in front of you hoping to get some guidance, get some inputs from the boards to see would this type of developments, knowing that we need a conditional use permit, would the board support this type of developments? I'm happy to answer any question you may
Any
have.
questions for the engineer from board members?
Question. Just so I'm clear, what you're talking about is two-story, no garage, 2 parking spaces a unit, essentially, plus a couple of others.
Visitor, maybe,
ADA,
that's what I think, yeah.
ADA. So that the height of this building will not be substantially higher than Franklin Savings Bank and will not tower over the buildings down, the Neighborhood Works development.
That's correct.
Down back. So you're keeping it at
Yes.
2-story.
And we're also looking, as part of the structural design, that instead of, a lot of them like to peak it, we'd like to get a design that flattens the look a bit to also help out the,
All right, well, but some of that's driven by utilities and need for that kind of stuff, right? Your functional piece of the building, okay. And the landscaping, you would meet the landscaping requirements for the site. I don't have any question actually that you probably would. As I recall, didn't you win an award or something for this? Yeah, I sort of remember that, for this
we
development.
have a lot of awards.
But for this one in particular. So what's up with the dog park?
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up. So that's something that we figure it would be nice, it's in that location, thank you, Robert, that for people living there, that a lot of people have pets and dogs, and it would be nice for them to have an area, fencing area for the dogs, and get together, play, have a play date, or just walk around at night. So it's more of convenient and amenity for the development.
My only comment would be the town has gone out of its way to not have a dog park for liability and insurance and maintenance issues. And I know the development behind there, it's lovely, but I don't know how you would control the dog park use.
Well, it'd be only
For the residents.
people, residents.
That's my point exactly.
Yeah. No, it's not for.
Okay,
It's
alright, that's my
Been
comment.
there, done that
Would
with the
be-
public. and it
There's a
doesn't
coffee
work.
shop not that far away,
Yeah,
that
doesn't
people
work.
can walk to. That's, I mean, I will have to say that I'm not happy about the state zoning changes. I'm not happy about what they've made us do for housing. But I actually think this is a site that if housing is gonna use up some commercial space, this is a spot that I think it's appropriate because it's not big enough for any significant industrial or commercial use. And there's housing around, there's a grocery store. You can actually walk to things from this location. So I don't have a problem with the use of it.
Well, I'm gonna poll the membership before we.
Yeah, well, I'm just, you
Right,
said it's
just
a
you-
conceptual, I'm
just
just
so
trying to
everybody
move this
knows.
around, we don't need to spend a huge amount of time on it.
I'd like to just point out that it's entirely private. When you look at the tax bill here, or the taxes, the town doesn't have to worry about any of the road, the plowing, the maintenance, all of the water, sewer, and associated pump stations are private until you get out to the main road. So the development eats all those costs, which makes I think, the tax money not have to work so hard.
So I'm gonna poll the members of the board here. David, what's your opinion on the conceptual project?
I endorse the development as the applicant has proposed.
Barbara, you already stated yours. Kimberly?
I'm opposed. I don't think we should keep giving away commercial opportunities in this location and in this part of the town.
Okay, I am not opposed to this, because it is a good use for the parcel. I know Mr. Cruz has been trying to develop it, because I was on this board when you got this project approved 20 years ago. So I've been looking at it for a long time. So I am not opposed to this use. Mark?
I'm not opposed.
I'm going to reiterate, and you probably heard me from a prior application, you're going to need to seek approval from the sewer commission for a parcel development this size to make sure there is capacity in the street to accept the flowage.
That made a lot of sense. You can't go and put on all the engineering and then find out you can't go in the sewer, which brings us to our point of how do we get the conditional use, assuming you go along with this a bit,
Right.
without spending well over 100 grand on engineering, architectural, and structural.
So if you contact the town hall, the sewer office, you can get on the agenda for the sewer commission to give your proposal and get the permission or from the sewer commission.
So-
I see the sewer thing.
So once Mr. Cruz does that and he talks to the sewer commission, I think what he's trying to say is, can he apply for a conditional use permit
He can,
through the planning
can
board?
apply.
Come
the
in-
board has just
But-
stayed,
Why don't we wait, I don't understand what's going on here, Julian. What?
I'm trying to ask a
I know.
question.
go ahead,
I
ask a question, I'm
understand.
sorry.
Apply for a conditional use permit, but not have the engineered drawings. See if the conditional use permit is approved, and if so, then come in with the drawings for the site plan.
No, I wouldn't agree with that, because the site plan is going to determine what the conditional approval is going to be for. So you can't, if you
But the-
granted a conditional approval based on what
It's
we're
not a
seeing here.
conditional approval, it's a conditional use permit, which would address the criteria just for the conditional use permit.
I think based on the polling of the board tonight, I think Mr. Cruz's conditional use permit will be granted, provided his drawings and application are in line with what they've presented this evening.
It does raise an interesting question, because really what it is, it's almost like going to the zoning board and getting approval for whatever it is they want to do, and then they come back for the formal planning board
We didn't do
process.
that with the prior application, did we?
I'm saying, I didn't use a specific example, Tim. It's that the zoning board is a different level of approval. And Mr. Cruz's point for our future consideration is, if somebody needs a conditional use, are we willing to grant the conditional use?
Prior to the applicant spending all the
Right,
money.
I mean, it's just not for, I understand what you're asking, the board's not ready to go there, but
Yeah, we'll try to see if it could be a two-step process instead of like concurrence, conditional use permits and site plan approval.
no,
at the same time.
we understand, but you should be happy if you can get through sewer commission and find out that you've got capacity and then come back.
Mr. Cruz, I like that you're allocating an appropriate green area for fire department access to the rear of your building, proposed building. I'm kind of doubtful, though, that the turning radius for a fire truck to use that is wide enough. So when you come down to the final plans, make sure that the turning radius for a truck is
The
adequate.
entrance will need to
Yeah.
widen, correct? This is just more schematic.
I understand it's conceptual, but that's my comment.
On the other hand, if we need turning radiuses for anything, maybe we don't need a ladder truck, since the fire department seems insistent on getting trucks right up to the edge of every building. How's that for a thought?
Well, we are gonna have them all sprinkled. Every,
This unit,
completely
yeah.
sprinkled.
They're gonna sprinkle.
Couple of years, who knows, that tower ladder may not be here, might have a whole different truck.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Well, let's not get on the fire department now. Scott?
Come on, we pick on it.
What is your plan for stormwater?
Stormwater, we're looking at most likely, because this is the lower side, we'll probably pitch in this, currently it's pitching in this direction.
Mhm.
So this will be a perfect spot
Okay.
to do some sort of attenuations or recharge as well.
Okay.
I know the town just have the new stormwater guideline.
Yeah, so there are treatment requirements now.
Absolutely. I noticed that it was come out a couple days ago.
Yep.
We intends to meet those requirements.
Perfect. Thank you. And then also in the development regulations, there's some requirements for the traffic study. I don't think this, you'll have to review it, but I don't believe this will trigger a full traffic analysis, but I think you will need the letter.
We'll probably do a traffic memo on it
Mhm.
with the trip generations.
Yeah, once you have the trip generation, that'll tell you what tier you are in our requirements for the traffic study, but I don't think you'll.
Yeah, I kind of did it quickly, very quickly. I mean, with 12 units, 2 bedrooms, you're looking at total of like 75 trip total during the whole
Yes,
day.
I think that keeps you in
Yeah.
the memo, or I think we call it a letter report, so.
That's great, thank you.
All right, we have a lot more to do tonight, so the board seems to be in favor of you pursuing this. If you'd like to, I think you have favorable opinions from board members at this point.
We will go to the sewer commission, and we may apply here to see if we can get some kind of official input on the conditional use.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Put that one away.
Joanne, what's our next application under new business?
The next application is, the applicant is ZAK LLC, and this is for the doggy day/night care business in the Goffstown Plaza.
Could you tell us where the Goffstown Plaza is for people who don't know where it is?
It's where the,
553 Mass Road.
Well, that doesn't help me at all.
Doesn't help anybody.
It's
Dave.
Shaw's
Trampoline.
Plaza.
the trampoline places.
We don't have big size
Is
plans for
it
these?
Shaw's
It's
Plaza?
Shaw's Plaza.
It's the
If you can
Stewart's
remember
Plaza.
that there was a Shaw's.
Oh, wait.
Because there's a
this is-
plaza across
We
the
don't have big
street.
size plans for these.
No, we do not.
Gotcha.
So there's a plaza
there's a
across the
cycling-
street, which is why I asked.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a plaza across the street from Goffstown Plaza, and I was trying to determine which plaza.
Is that called Community Plaza? I don't know. if you
Goffstown
know.
Square.
Goffstown Square, that's right.
What's the number?
People.
534?
Come on.
All right, so this is located near the Verizon store in the Goffstown Plaza. And the applicant is here to present a request for a waiver of site plan, because we do have a site plan on file for the plaza. The only exterior change that they're making is they're adding space in the back for the dogs, fenced in, for the dogs to go out to.
Well, we'll find out where the back is from the applicant.
Okay, and so the application is for a waiver of site plan for this business. And that's the only waiver they're asking for. So that's
Waiver of the site plan itself.
waiver of an engineered site plan.
Okay, requesting waiver.
They do have a site plan, it's just the site plan for the plaza itself.
Okay, let me
Which is
clarify
this.
this, because I am a little confused about what we're doing here. I understand that, and it really was very unhelpful in trying to figure out what was going on and where exactly it was. I understand they don't need normally they could come in and say, is this a permitted use in this space, in this plaza? You would say yes, and they would go their merry way.
Yes.
they needed to go to the ZBA because they want to operate 24/7. So they got permission from the ZBA to operate 24/7.
Because you can't do the overnight in the
Right,
commercial.
right. So the
Correct.
they need 24/7 to
So
operate it.
I'm hearing they got a ZBA variance for 24-hour operation.
Correct.
did.
Okay.
Because usually we get a copy of the variance.
So we didn't get a copy of that approval, which I didn't quite understand. But so now they're proceeding further with this, and they're here asking for a waiver of the site plan, but why do they need, if they would have been permitted at all, they need the site plan because they're 24/7?
ZBA
Oh, it is in
is
there.
here.
I missed it.
Where is it?
What page?
Oh, it's in the application for development.
Oh,
Joanne,
it's in the actual.
Joanne, is Barbara's point is that because they need to show exterior improvement to the site plan.
Exactly.
That's the modification.
Thank you.
If their business was totally within the unit they're
They
renting.
would not be here. It's because of the changes to the back.
Exterior modification.
Correct.
Okay, so are they asking that what they have submitted is sufficient for our approval of this request?
Yes, because the change that they're making has more to do with the way that it's built to handle the dog waste. Because the only other thing is they're putting up a fence.
Joanne, we're in our packet.
So
with
in
a
the
description
packet,
of
there's
the
a description.
Exterior modifications. There's a footprint,
There's no
but I don't see any structural plans.
Page number, but it looks like this, Playful Pack.
Okay, I have a problem with the Playful Pack. That's a franchise. They're not the applicant. There's no necessary legal relationship with Playful Pack paperwork. It shouldn't even be in here because that's a franchise operation which the applicant owner may or may not choose to do for this operation. They could just operate a doggy daycare. So if the Playful Pack is a representation as to the grid system, I understood the grid system was not Playful Pack. Playful Pack is the franchise operation itself, not what we're talking about. And to David's point, when I looked at these documents, I could not get nailed down exactly where on the exterior of this building this area was going to be. And the reason I wanted to know that was because I've driven back there many times over the years, but
It's on this map highlighted in pink. And then the play area would be in green right behind it.
so I was supposed to be able to tell that this is the applicant in the pink and that the green is the area. I was supposed to be able to tell that.
Yeah, well, there's a few other maps that they've included. Let me just find them.
And where the bollards going to be.
Then there's another map that shows what they're doing in the interior, which is just a sketch that they've provided. So that's why they're asking for
And
a
where is
waiver of
the
an
bar
engineered
seating
site
that's
plan.
outside in relation to this? Isn't there another unit that
The
uses?
brewery?
Yeah.
I believe it's
in this
about
corner
2
right here.
units away. Is that about 2 units?
I don't know.
It's roughly about
Is that
2
Where the
what
little,
this
where
is
they
right
show the
here?
tables? Where the tables are shown?
Yeah.
That's the bar.
Yes.
All right.
I have a question. So Joanne, through the zoning board process, were abutters notified of this?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know if there were?
No,
No,
Yeah,
so
through
were
the
they
zoning
abutted-
board.
Were through zoning?
the abutter is the owner. There are no, the lessor.
The abutters of the
Parcel.
Of the
parcel,
parcel, the
which is what we
tenants were not.
normally always do.
What
Okay.
about the
Not the
abutters?
people renting space within the,
What about the abutters on the other side of the street?
anyone touching the property was notified.
Or across the
But the
street.
tenants that are
These ones
renting
show
space
that.
within that plaza are just tenants, they're not notified.
So
The
the-
owner of the property signed off on the
So
application.
the houses
This
are
is
on
the whole list of abutters and all this on Moose
Moose
Club.
Club Park?
Yeah,
all
they're
around
on
Moose
Club
Club
Park.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right,
they
that's
were
what I was
notified.
thinking.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
great. So, but if we waive engineered site plan are we waiving a butter notification for this, or were butters notified for this tonight?
They were notified.
They were notified,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
but-
have to have that in order to have the public hearing.
But not the tenants?
Correct.
No, that never applies.
Yeah, okay, for tenants, but I don't know what's noisier, a bar or barking dogs. I guess you just get what you get.
What was in this unit prior to this applicant's request?
That was where the pool place was.
What's a pool?
Playtime pools or.
You mean they sell pools and things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the list of everyone who was notified, it's quite a number of people.
Okay, I just wanted to know, okay.
We'll let the applicant come up and explain what they want to do.
Okay.
If we have any more
27
questions.
altogether.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big parcel.
Just so you know, we ask you to identify yourself for the record and go from there. And do it slowly so I can write your name down.
My name is Rachel Valancourt.
Scott Valencourt.
Rachel and Scott Vallis.
Yes.
Please, thank you. Sure.
It was point taken as far as playful pack, understood. Yeah, we're the owners of ZAK LLC. We're seeking a waiver for the engineered site plan. As stated, we have gone through the zoning board. Prior to that, the TRC, and I think the concern where the building inspector had referred us that we needed site plan was due to the outside concern about runoff. We've met with Scott, talked about what our plan was. He expressed, his support for, what we've proposed, which is in the application.
I am recommending a very small modification to that.
Yes,
this board.
I
Okay.
did see that, and yes, not a problem, we can accept that condition as well. So what we're trying to do is put in a 30 by 50 fenced-in area. We'll remove the asphalt in this play area. We'll put, let's make sure I don't get it wrong, 2.5 inches of 3/4 inch stone. On top of that, 1 inch of 3/8 stone. And Scott's condition, the geotextile fabric. And then there's this air grid tiles. There's very many different brand names. But basically it's a tile system that about 1 inch, it leaves about 92% air gap. So any drainage, it gives it time that with the gravel, it's not going to be overloaded. It gives it more time to drain.
I was concerned about nitrogen and phosphorus loading from running off, because originally they wanted to just put it on the asphalt, and then there's closed drainage back there, so they found there's multiple different systems, and they showed me a few, and then when I researched them a little more, a couple of them had that fabric basically so that grid wouldn't over time press into the stone. So that was.
So is this,
It's like landscape path.
I think I want to ask a question. Is this for surface, for rainwater, or for dog pee?
Both.
It'll do both.
So what happens when it becomes saturated and it's loaded to the point where that urine is leaching into the ground at that point?
Well, that's what we're hopefully avoiding with what we're proposing. And, again, we had talked to Scott because he had the same concerns. We're trying to avoid any runoff.
Did you investigate the science of this, Scott, to
So
understand?
that's what these systems are made for. Some of them, they say you can even put on asphalt, but then it requires collection and then being
Removal.
put in, because you can put it indoors, and then when you collect it indoors, it actually goes to sewer.
Yeah.
From what I could tell. But the infiltration is one of the best ways to treat for phosphorus and nitrogen, so I think this is a good solution. I'm not sure what else you do. I mean, you could require more stone, but I think the amount that you'll see there, when there's a heavy rainstorm, I did think it'll be most of the urine would still have infiltrated, and what you'll get running off would just be the stormwater. I think once it's inundated.
I just don't want to give my personal okay to something that is going to cause a problem. Or if the science says that it has to be replaced in 10 years with new products because the old product doesn't work anymore. I don't know about the science of this thing, so that's my concern.
Yeah, like I said, I looked through a few different systems, and I guess what I don't have is examples of like how they've worked in the field. You just get what the manufacturer says, so I don't.
Well,
I don't
again,
have real
Scott, to your point, the tile grid systems are generally used inside. You know, like Maple Pack, they have some franchises that are specifically indoors. They have no outdoor area.
But they are tied to the sewer system.
Yeah,
as the
that's
engineers
what
rated.
that sounded
And so
like
there is an
when I-
overflow mechanism to take any waste away.
Right.
But Scott, you mentioned that it would flow to a closed drainage system. So does that mean closed drainage results in treatment?
I don't know, honestly, I don't know enough about this plaza to know where, I think this plaza's old enough that it just outlets. So that's why
Right.
infiltration at the point, at the source, I think is a good solution, other than some massive, infiltration thing. I believe it should work. I don't know about odor. That's the big question mark. I think these grass materials that they looked at, they talk about different odor inhibiting. Is it they can speak on the odor part more.
Yeah,
than
they do have, I'm lost for the word I want.
Antimicrobial.
Yes,
maybe?
that's what I'm trying to say. Obviously with any dog business, we don't want smell. So we're trying to take, the best steps we can to avoid that. Buck brought up the brewery that's a couple doors down. We don't want to interfere, with their clientele.
They also allow dogs there too.
Their business hours, they're open 4 days a week, Thursdays and Fridays. Most of our dogs are gonna be going home by the time they're open. Saturdays and Sundays, I anticipate minimal dogs compared to during the week.
You're 24
For
hours.
boarding,
Okay.
we're not daycare 24/7.
So we would probably need some parameters from you on the record as to when dogs would be outside for
Absolutely.
openers, for noise purposes, and we need to know some numbers. How many dogs does this area accommodate? Different things to gauge your request on.
Absolutely. What we anticipate is having 2 indoor play areas, dogs separated by size and temperament. Okay. Most of the daycare will be inside. Small groups will rotate outside. Obviously they've got to do their business, let them run around for a bit, but it'll be small groups. There will be at least one staff member there, any solid waste to be picked up immediately, double bagged, biodegradable bags, and put in a sealed container.
We're certain you're gonna run a clean operation.
Absolutely.
We'd like to know about it.
Absolutely. But back, speaking of the urine and runoff, we did present to Scott a couple samples during our research. Most of what we've come across, the turfs have a backing like this, and the drainage just through punched holes. Different products have more holes, whatever. We came across different product that of course is the most expensive and twice as expensive as any other one on the market, but this whole backing is permeable. So the drainage, I mean, we did our own unscientific test out in the deck when it rained. Underneath here did not compare to what this produced as far as drainage. So most likely, you know, we want to go with this product. If you hold us to it, obviously we will. So we have no problem, because again, we want to run a clean, odor-free to the, you know, most extent as we can.
What's your statement on the subject of noise?
Noise, obviously, you know, dogs do make noise. We're not going to sit here and say that they don't. Outside, again, we're going to have small groups. If we have a dog that becomes a nuisance, you know, that dog is going to be brought in, okay? Our intention on the inside is to have 2 quiet / isolation rooms. So if that dog needs, you know, basically a timeout, you know, she's overstimulated, you know, the dog will be, you know, placed in there until the dog calms down. Just like the odor, we don't want to upset our neighbors. We don't want to upset residents, you know, across the street.
As far as at nighttime goes, our daycare part of our operation is going to close at 6:30 at night. And then 7:30 at night, I'm sorry. And so if there's boarding dogs, there won't be more than 10. And they will also have a nighttime last call, as we call it at home, 10 o'clock. They'll each go out by themselves with somebody, with a person who's working. They'll each rotate out their last call, and then they'll be in for the night. So there won't be any playtime groups at nighttime, only playtime groups during the day. We will operate as far as 1 human being to 10 dogs. Obviously, if we become more popular and more busy, we'll hire more people per dog. But that's as far as the noise goes at nighttime. There's not going to be any besides them going to do their business before they go to bed.
Sure. Mr. Valencourt, Joanne's description for us to be familiar with your project says it's a 30 by 50 enclosure. Your drawing doesn't say 30 by 50, it says
Yes, I made
55, 65, which is right.
30 by 50, sorry, I made the correction on there.
And what is the nature of the physical enclosure? Structurally, what is it? Is it
What we are proposing is a 8-foot solid vinyl fence. We don't want to risk any dogs that are high jumpers.
Good. This is a question maybe Mark can address. Is this enclosed structure, is it preventing fire department to have access to the rear door?
It is not. There will be a gate, which the fire department had commented on, because honestly before that we did not think about that.
What did you imply by the blue dashes on this drawing?
A little color challenge, so give me a
Sorry,
minute.
that's where people can drive by freely. So when the fire department comes around that big side where Planet Fitness is, they can go right out back, and they can go all the way down to the end, straight through. I don't know who put those blue dots.
But it's your application, you.
No,
Yes, that would, just showing to where the boundary line is.
So, you're not putting anything where those blue
Correct.
structures? Okay.
Those are just the distance from the proposed fenced-in area to the property line. Is that what those blue lines are?
They don't know. So the access to the rear of the area that you're gonna be occupying, is there a separate door, or does all human have to pass through the dog pen to get into the back of the building?
There is a door currently that goes to the outside. Where we're proposing the play area, there is currently not a door. We are proposing to put a door.
Okay, so there would be a separate access for
Correct.
someone to enter the building without passing through the dog
Correct.
pen? Okay, that's all I need. Are you gonna be doing a grooming operation as well, or is this strictly limited to what you said tonight?
We will be doing bathing. We're not going to be doing full-on grooming. That may be something we entertain down the road, but at this point, just simple wash and dry.
Dogs tend to get stinky when they've stayed for a couple days.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to get a handle on your water consumption at the place compared to, and water discharge as compared to the pool business that probably wash their hands and use the toilet once in a while.
Right.
And it sounds like a pretty serious upgrade to grooming, which is a lot more flow.
It was brought up to us, I believe, at the TRC, just
Okay.
the fact that we have dog kennels per se, that we would be charged an additional.
As long as it's been
Whatever amount.
addressed, that's all.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Corey did bring that up.
Good.
I don't
That's all I
remember the
need to know.
specifics, I just had
Okay,
Joanne, question, what's our standard fence height?
It's normally 6 feet.
So if they want to put up an 8-foot fence, do they need
I
some
believe
permission?
they might need a building
I think
permit.
you do need a building permit over 6 feet.
What, that's, when he said 8 feet, that's,
well, they're gonna, sounds like they're gonna be doing interior renovations, which are gonna require a building permit anyway, so
Correct.
they can
Yeah.
loop it all into the whole permit process.
okay, well, just, so they're aware of that.
Yes,
that-
we are aware, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
I'm sorry, Barbara, go ahead.
I guess I'm a little, skeptical of this drainage,
Yeah.
this system. So, how do you decide when there's a problem?
How do we decide when there's a problem?
Well, I mean, barking, it's a nuisance. There's a noise ordinance, neighbors call the police come, you've got the dogs in, I can just see this going on for a while. But the bar is there, there's
So
no.
we do have devices to test for ammonia in stormwater. So if we think there's an issue, we could test the nearby catch basins to see if it's getting
Okay.
in there. Annually, we do test all the outfalls in town that the town owns. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
we
we
test
don't-
theirs.
It would never show up in an outfall because it's going into the soil directly down. It would have to be in your system to go
Well,
into the
that's
outfall.
what, yeah, so.
Right, because they're digging up the pavement underneath, right?
Yes,
So-
they're
so
removing the
it's gonna-
asphalt to put in these couple stone layers and then the grid itself.
Well,
I don't think there's an issue with it going into the soil, that it would be if it got into the,
it's a doggy septic system. And septic systems in the state of New Hampshire require DES approval. I'm just saying that before I would ever be willing to vote on this, I would want the applicant to come back with an affirmative statement from the DES that we're not approving a septic system in the ground behind the plaza illegally. It'd be up to
So-
them to prove to us that they don't, that we wouldn't.
so I didn't reach out to the septic design group at DES, but I did reach out to a colleague in stormwater and asked for some advice on this. And he did not mention that at all, but I'd be curious to know.
No, I
if he
think
mentioned
it's a
that.
question that needs to be answered before I would be willing to vote in the affirmative for an application like this.
Would that apply to any dog daycare with an outside area?
It would apply to one that's a commercial operation that's proposing to the planning board to dig up the pavement, put in a air grid 3 system which infiltrates stormwater and dog urine into the soils underneath the pavement. Which if you do that as a septic system in your own home, which is basically the same thing because the solids are captured in the tank, so it's just a liquid. You need a permit from DES to put a septic system in, so I personally am not in favor of personally voting on this until we have an answer from DES on this.
I just ask respectfully, because dog daycare was just approved 8 months ago without any.
Where?
Right here on Depot Road, Dog Vibes. It was an administrative decision.
Oh, it's administrative, it didn't come before this board.
I think it was permitted and.
Look, I don't wanna deny you your right to have a business, but I do not feel comfortable voting on an application where I don't know if we have the authority to do it or not. I think someone else has to tell me that it's permitted, that the state of New Hampshire's Department of Environmental Services knows what air grid canine grass is and knows what it does before I would be willing to cast a affirmative vote.
Joanne, what was, I mean, we have to have a public hearing on this, and I understand. Going back to your report, what was your,
Her report was to approve it.
and the waiver is from the site plan.
Correct.
I do think that the drawings are confusing that I have, that if I was to go with what I have to try to see what's there for outside, I would be confused. I think there could be more detail on it too. So that if you wanted to go back there, I would be able to correlate. On a hand, I don't have a problem with no site, a waiver of, quote, the formal site plan requirements. I just had problems understanding from your site plan exactly where things were going to be outside, and that's really what I think I'm looking for, is that I know where the fence is gonna be, where the bollards are gonna be, where's the access, you know, if there's a problem, how do you get in? I don't know, I would be interested to see if anybody even got a call back from DES on this phone message, because
Who sent a phone message in?
I'm just saying, on a phone message to DES on your question as to, I'm calling from Joanne, if you were to call, you know, I mean, I know you're asking the applicant, but just from a town perspective, if you were to call DES and, Scott, you would know better, do you even get a person up there, or what happens when you call now up there?
There's people
The
that,
water division would answer the phone.
yeah.
But can I, so just to the point though, if we recently approved one, the other dog park, it's completely indoors?
We didn't approve anything, it was administrative. This
It
board
was
did
for
not approve
permitted
it.
use in the,
I was out on my leave at that time, but I remember when I came back, I saw a letter from Patty to the planning board, and there was discussion in the minutes, and the board was okay with it.
And there's no external
There is.
dog use?
There is, yeah. It was,
I
I think it was a grassed area.
We're not comparing
It's-
apples
it's
to
up
apples,
there
so
now.
I don't
think
wanna,
it's sand, right?
I think my point to Tim's request is, I think that we've had issues with applicants going to DES and getting responses and information before. And I've never heard of anybody going to DES with a question for septic issues that was not human.
Yeah, I'm not,
I mean, has anybody ever heard that? I never have.
she deals with them every day. I know.
Yeah.
Not on septic
Not
stuff,
on
but.
septic stuff, though. But I do understand the point that it's difficult for us to challenge, to hold a different applicant to a different standard.
We don't have any standards to compare it to. I have a question as to how we would ask. I think to approach DES on this never occurred to me. I'm more concerned about the noise, our drainage, being able to manage what goes into our drainage systems.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Namaski currently has a phosphorus impairment, and Pet Waste has high phosphorus levels, so that's.
so does.
We don't want that going into the closed system that I don't believe goes through treatment at all, which is the reason I requested some sort of infiltration.
Okay.
So I directed them to provide some sort of engineered solution, which these are engineered solutions. And it's with what knowledge I could, or what I read of them, it sounds like they work, but
I am not opposed to waiving the engineered site plan, because you don't need an engineered site plan. I need to know the specifics of the leaching of the water into the soil. That's all I'm concerned with. So if you can get an answer for me, that's all I need, beyond.
Mr. Ballenkirk, the unit that you're renting in the plaza area, is the tenant to your left, are they still a brewery with outdoor seating?
Yes, it's,
The
Verizon is
rear of
between
the-
us and Mountain Base Brewery.
You're
So
actually
we-
next to Verizon.
Correct.
So as a planning board, we look at impacts to neighboring parcels. We don't have any authority to look at the impact on tenants of the same building. So that's between the owner of the building and the tenants.
You're right, I agree with that statement.
Thank you.
Well, unless, we can open the public hearing tonight, we can take comment, but I would be in favor of continuing this application until the applicant is able to give us some more information. If you can do it quickly, in 2 weeks, is it time, Joanne, to continue it?
We don't have another
We don't
meeting
have
this
another
month.
meeting in August.
September.
It'll be September
Well, it's a
10th.
month from now. I'm sorry.
That's the meeting that Patty was
So the
trying to
10th.
say is kind of full, but
What meeting is kind of full?
September 10th.
Well, there's nothing on the agenda.
So she sent out an email today, and
That's
she said
CIP.
it's the CIP presentations. There's a lot line adjustment on St. A's Drive. There may be a lot line adjustment in Allard Park. There may be the Goffstown High School parking lot, and maybe a multifamily project on Henry Bridge.
Well, that's a lot of maybes, except that this would become old business and it'd be the first one on the agenda that night.
Mhm.
So, board members, how do we want to handle this? I will open a public hearing before we decide that. So just stay where you are. If someone wants to speak, I'll ask you to vacate the chair. At this time, we're going to open the public hearing for this application, map 18, lot 58B. Does anybody here to speak regarding this application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Board members.
I think there seems to be a consensus that, at least Tim, you said you don't need a formal site plan. I don't need a formal site plan. I think I would like to see more detail on what's there, so, not having what I'm gonna take in front of me, otherwise I would make a motion to waive the formal site plan, but, I'm okay since Tim wants an answer to this question, and I think you might not be able to get an answer at all, in which case that's what you tell us, so in September, I'll make a motion to continue to September 10th.
Anybody want to second
Sorry, I
that?
know you were hoping to get this through tonight.
Sure, I'll
Winter
second it.
comes, we'll have no outside area, you know.
Tim,
Well, we're sorry for that.
No,
Mark?
I understand.
I'll second that,
Okay.
Barbara's motion.
Maybe it'll be a late winter.
I share the same concerns that you share, Tim. When the fluids start going all over the place, we've got a whole different issue that's going to come forward. And what do we do with it then? We need to take care of it now. I wouldn't actually do anything until we got the answer from DES. So we, the town, doesn't get in trouble and the owner doesn't get in trouble. If we got the right answers to start, we'll be moving forward on the right step and we'll go from there.
All right, the motion has been made to continue to September the 10th. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. We hope you can have your answers for us, and we'll see you.
Just so Claire, you need something from DES?
Well, what we have stated, we are all in favor of granting the waiver for the engineered site plan. However, we would like to know if you can get DES to look at your product and say, oh, we've seen that before and it works. Or they might say, we don't know anything about it, and we don't know how it works, but we need something from the Department of Environmental Services, the Water Division. It's Water Division that handles septic systems.
But Tim, what happens if they come back and they say DES said, no, we've never seen this before?
Well, then the board can decide to vote for it or vote against it. That's what each board member's right is, and get a unanimous vote one way or the other.
And if you could just have, yeah, I mean, this drawing sort of said what you were gonna do, you'll have to deal with the building department on that, right? This is, so if you can just,
This is really the
you're gonna
one.
hand sketch.
Yeah, the hand sketch of the dimensions of the proposed fenced area, so a description of what fencing material you're gonna use, and if you can take and sketch the bollard locations with circles and label them bollards, so we would know where you're putting up the bollards to protect the fence from the snowplow and any other vehicles that might try.
I did shoot out an email to the building inspector to make sure,
He's
you know.
still out on leave.
Okay, that's why I haven't heard back. Because I believe, from my understanding, that the spacing of them is vague and it's, I mean,
Well, the
they have to
spacing-
be close enough where a car cannot
That's the
get through.
criteria.
So what we had proposed in here is,
That's a lot of bollards.
right, well, that's what I was asking, do they need to be all the way around or just on the back side?
You need to clear that with
Okay.
a building official.
That may even be the fire department that could look at that.
I asked them, he sent me to
That'd be
building
good,
inspector.
okay.
David?
We're addressing a change to a site plan. Mr. Ballencourt, he doesn't own that site plan that was submitted. The owner of the plaza is the one
They
that...
signed, they're the
The
they
owner is
signed
the applicant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
Technically
I'm
the
addressing who...
yeah, no, they
Are we
signed the
changing a
application.
site plan that he doesn't own?
No, the owner did sign the application.
Okay, thank you.
Patty made, either Joanne or Patty made sure that, I think there were some emails I read about.
We have it in
And
writing.
just when you do your plan, also make a note on your plan that you're gonna add an extra door, other than only just a little notch in the wall and label it proposed door or something, just
Okay,
so that it's
thought
part
I had
of.
it on there, but yeah, I'll
I
make it
didn't look
more
at it.
detailed. No problem.
And it only needs to be hand sketched, you don't need to hire an engineer to do it for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You did a good job on the inside, just do it on the outside.
All right, we'll see you on the 10th.
All right,
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne, next.
Next is Wayne Surratt. This is located on map 6, lot 11, 294 Goffstown Back Road. He's looking for a site plan review for a 2,160 square foot garage for his plumbing business. This is actually a positive story. He started out as a home occupation in town many years ago, I think 25 years ago or so. And he's expanded over the years and his business has grown successfully, and now he needs more space. So he had gone to the zoning board. He received 2 variance approvals. One was to allow for the existing home occupation to convert to a contractor business, which is allowed in the agricultural zone. He didn't have the ample not coverage, but the ample acreage. You need 5 acres where he had, I think it's 2. So he also did not meet the setbacks on the side. So he was granted 2 variances, and then this type of use also needs a special exception, which was also granted. So he's here tonight for approval of the site plan for his contracting business, and which is HVAC, and approval of the construction of the new garage. And we did get architectural drawings, and it mimics that. The style looks like a barn, so it fits in well.
Questions from the board for staff?
And I should also add that the application is complete with no regional impact.
Barbara, could you make the normal motion, please?
Hold on, I just want to make sure that.
Let me say it for you.
It's just I just wanted to make sure it was one waiver. Okay, I'll make a motion to find that the application for tax map 6, lot number 11 is complete, that there is no regional impact, and the board that should accept it with the understanding that there is 2 waivers requested, which are not granted by the acceptance of this application as being complete. Sorry, I said that a little differently, but it's the same.
Well, that's not how I wrote it, so that's okay.
That's all right.
I wrote
You
it the
wrote
old-
it the right-
I
you
wrote it the
right
old way.
We're getting close to the time I told the chair I was going to have to leave, so.
So Barbara made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I'll ask the applicant to come up and make his presentation for the board. Names, gentlemen?
Wayne Surratt.
Hi, Wayne.
And Trevor Yanda with Meridian Land Services.
Trevor Yandor, you said?
Yando, Y-A-N-D-O-W.
Thank you very, Trevor.
Yep. So yeah, as Joanne said, we're here for a site plan to construct a detached garage that's going to function, or going to serve a couple uses. One, it's going to allow Wayne's business, which currently resides in the existing single-family dwelling on the property. That office space is going to be moved to the second floor of this proposed garage. It's just under 2,000 square feet, I believe 1,800. For the second.
2160?
Well, I'm just saying the floor space for the
upstairs,
office.
yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, the footprint is 2160, it's 60 by 36. And the remainder of the garage is gonna be used for storage of, resident, tractor, car, yard equipment, some miscellaneous supplies for his company, and I think an exercise room as well. Upstairs. And I guess the improvements associated with it are obviously additional access out and around the rear of the garage. This typical business operations in a typical day for him is that his employees come to his property, they leave their vehicles, and they take trucks to various job sites. So the parking will get the employee parking further away from Goffstown Back Road, and our intent is to obviously provide screening so that there's not really any clear view from Goffstown Back Road to this area. As far as staff review, I just wanted to touch on a couple of the comments. I think the 2 plan comments were regarding snow storage and and a dumpster location that is not shown here, but we wouldn't have any issue adding them if the board feels it's necessary. The dumpster would be placed probably in the center here of this paved area on the northwest side, and then snow storage, the way Mr. Surratt clears the snow is a snow blower on his tractor, and it gets thrown into the yard, any that's within reach. So again, I don't know how we would necessarily, we can depict that on the plan, or use the record from tonight's meeting, I guess, to satisfy that. I'll leave it up to you guys on that. We are seeking 2 waivers, one in regards to lighting. The only lighting that's proposed is kind of wall pack mounted fixtures adjacent to the doors. Just given the size of the property, the intensity of that proposed lighting, it's negligible as far as providing a photometric illumination plan. And then the other waiver was regarding site topography. The existing lot is fairly gently sloping, it's open, and there's no real again, no real benefit that I see to providing the existing topography for this site. I think this is one where the building gets set and everything gets graded relative to the building. The property lines are clearly marked, and we feel comfortable with what's presented here in terms of the improvements needed and the limits of those improvements. Touching on drainage, so the intent of the drainage design is basically we're surrounding the parking area with linear infiltration trenches that are 18 inches deep, and they're a trapezoidal cross section. I believe it's 2 feet wide at the base, and this is designed to essentially capture the runoff from the new impervious area on the site up through the 100-year storm. And then the water would be infiltrated into the ground, treated.
What's the soil type there?
A.
It's A?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's all sand, it's well-drained sand. Yeah.
Excavation.
Yeah, it's right next to the abutting property here is his relatives, it's a gravel pit.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I just only
Yeah.
asked because infiltration only works when you have sand. It doesn't
Right.
work when you have.
Yes,
wet.
and that was, that's why we went this route. I think that's the general gist of the project. As far as the staff recommendations and the conditions, we didn't take any exception to any of those, so I guess we're happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. So.
Joanne, is this required to have a landscaping plan?
I think they didn't do a separate plan, but they do show the screening of the trees on the site plan itself.
Right, I see them, that's fine.
Okay.
I just, I feel like we had someone just, there was the question about a landscaping plan with the prior site, and they had to ask for a waiver. So do we need to have them ask for a waiver of this, or?
If you think it's required, I mean, it's so simple that it doesn't really need a whole new sheet, but for purposes of sticking with the rules, I think it probably should require a written waiver.
And is it, well, I mean, Joanne, we just had an application that we went through this that had
Just-
plenty of existing, that we
Right.
required him to do a waiver of a landscape plan, that the existing trees satisfied the landscape plan. Are these screening trees are proposed?
Correct.
Yes.
So there's a proposal, but, I mean, did anybody do a calculation for what would be required?
Right, the development regs have a requirement, a calculation of what needs to be provided.
Right, and I guess my,
We're not saying that you need to do one, it's
Yeah.
just,
I do, I want to see the numbers.
well, but you need a
Right.
note that
Right.
says,
And they could do the same thing where they count what's already existing toward it, right? Because
yes, as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
but that's a struggle too, because we don't have topo or survey or anything, we don't have that existing tree line even shown. So that's also something that is hard for us to understand.
understood, and I guess if I could just make a quick point on the landscaping regs, and, because it does specify the requirements for commercial, industrial, institutional, and religious development is 1 tree and 2 shrubs per, based on the lot area. I guess, does a home occupation count as a commercial development, would be my question.
But now it's no longer a home occupation, it's a contractor business.
But I guess the operation is not changing. It's basically moving from the house to this. There's no new employees, the operation's gonna be the same, I guess is my point. And there's a bunch of existing landscaping on the site, and we could go through and count all of those trees and shrubs, because Wayne and his family do a great job of keeping the property looking really, really nice. So if that's the direction the board would want to go, we can provide a note and some additional location of existing features, if that would be helpful.
Well, I don't know how anybody else feels, but I feel like this is a commercial use and it does need to meet that. And we do need to have a way, we need notes on the plan to address it, and then ask for a waiver of that landscaping
I mean,
plan.
my guess is that if there's any existing, there's not gonna be any landscape existing in the back because of the infiltration system that's going in.
Right.
So,
looks like the back is just open lawn right now anyway.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But for the site, there are requirements for the number, and they might be all on the front, and you might argue, I don't need a plan, and they're all on the front, and there's nobody to screen from back here.
Well, do you count screening that screens the house as part of the landscaping standard if it's screening the house and not screening the new structure? I mean,
Well, I think you can.
Somebody's got to decide what the
Yeah,
screening's intent is.
Well, but we just made Mike Dahlberg come back and and show us all the trees on there so that we could agree, and that was on the master, this is on the back road. So it's just as busy and populated, and I feel like we have to be consistent.
I'm gonna screen it from the sand pit.
I was gonna say, I guess in terms of the spirit and intent of screening from adjacent properties, this section of the property is a sand pit. It's a commercial operation. It's open. This property is a residential, but there is I think there's over 200 feet of wooded buffer, from this line over here, and then you've got 3 residential abutters across the road, which landscaping to screen this, I mean, I would argue that the house itself and what's in the front lawn area meet the intent of one, softening the aesthetic of the buildings, and then providing visual screening between passerbys on that road.
What's the elevation difference between the front driveway and the proposed site? Are you going up in the back, or are you going
You're going
level?
up a little bit. I mean, I would say,
A little bit is not a term that you put on a ruler. What is up?
Maybe 4 feet?
I was gonna say 4 or 5 feet.
Okay, and then your proposed height of the building itself is a 2-story building?
Correct.
Space underneath and an office above. I know you're never gonna screen the building, but I think the
The
screening.
building is screening the parking
Yeah, screening the parking area
with the
more.
bushes,
Yeah.
the trees
To
on the
soften the
inside.
building, yeah. Now, I think Kimberly's comments are valid, because what we hold one applicant to, we should hold all applicants to, or none of them to it. Take your pick. So, as much as you'd probably like to have a conditional approval tonight, if the board's consensus is for you to count some trees and come back to us and say, we meet 50% of the landscaping standard with the existing trees, existing shrubbery, and are proposed, we would ask for a waiver for the other 50% to be waived, and we don't have to do them.
Mhm.
So it's a process.
Do you want to see the existing locations on the plan as
Well,
well?
we didn't actually see the existing locations on the prior plan. We saw
He did
a
show
fuzzy
some.
line around the edge.
He did, he showed us.
He
So he
definitely
could draw the same thing on this plan right here.
It wasn't a Winnie the Pooh line, it was a
Right.
drive.
I mean, because he
It's a
showed the
drawing.
peach trees that he was paving, and I said, you're paving the peach trees, and he's removing them.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and then
three-
he had pointed
Right.
out some, so.
3 trees aren't screened.
Well, but with all due respect, I mean, that's the point. The point is we have regulations.
And
Right.
I didn't.
But he did apply for the waiver. I agree.
So, I guess, I don't know that I think, I mean, unless I'm hearing from somebody else that they think there's a topo plan needed for this building.
I don't think they need a topo plan. That was one of my comments that I
Right.
didn't
And,
need that.
and the exterior lighting plan waiver, where's my application? You're asking for.
Because they're doing wall pack lights on the building and not site lighting.
Oh, this is the application I saw.
And there is a note.
Not Mike's.
Is that
Okay.
correct? You're
Yeah,
doing
there's no pole mount there, it's
Right.
just building mounted.
Okay.
wall pack lights.
Correct.
All right,
Yep.
so I don't have any issue with those 2 waivers, but I think the lack of a note addressing the landscaping at all, and the lack of any recognition of what's there now on the plan is a problem. I don't have a problem with the plan. I think it's great, but the landscaping needs to get dealt with.
It is in the requirements.
And then the site plan just feels like there's just 2 pieces of paper. It's always used to so much more. But you're satisfied with the drainage, what they proposed, Matt?
Yeah.
The drainage, okay.
Do you have any
Yeah, most
outstanding
of them are
issues
sand.
with the site
I know.
as a town engineer?
I just wanted them to show the dumpster location and that it's screened.
Right.
And then, if they're using a snow blower, snow storage isn't as much of a thing as when you're pushing snow, so I don't know what this board wants to see for that, like Trevor noted. that-
I don't think we need to see much of anything if they're gonna blow snow, because I do the same thing and it's 40 feet out in the yard when I get done doing my driveway.
Yeah, and, I mean, until he said that, we didn't know what they were going to do, so, you know. It's in their regs to say where you're,
Putting
you
snow.
know, storing snow, so.
So you would have to show them on a final plan,
Them being,
the dumpster location,
yes, yes, we would,
and
And a fence around it.
you're gonna screen it?
You have to.
I believe our regs require it be properly.
Okay, so you'll
Dumpsters
have to
have to be
screen the
Dumpsters is great.
dumpster.
That wording's in the landscaping
Mhm.
section, I believe.
Okay, so,
They were just looking at it earlier.
Because I noted that
Appendix
on.
G on page 100.
Was that the new one though?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
I'm
on
under the old one.
They submitted this before.
Gotcha.
but you just
But
have
we
to,
still have
you
to
just have to
do
make a
it.
note and show it on the plan so it becomes part of the final.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
yeah.
You don't wanna look at it anyway.
Well,
The only thing about the snow storage is that you blow the snow. Someday you may sell the place and that guy's gonna plow the snow, and it would be nice to show on the site plan where you would have room to pile snow if you needed to. Seems like you have an awful lot of parking lot, you could pile it all at the back of the parking lot, by your trench drain at the rear of the parcel, and leave it all on the pavement and never even have a problem, so
Right.
you might wanna consider showing where you might do snow storage on site. Put it on the print,
that's not a problem.
make it meet the standard. You could push it onto the other lot too.
He is my cousin.
Downhill. All right,
So then are we voting to continue this, or do we feel like that's a stop?
Public hearing?
Oh, sorry.
well, I'm trying to get to the,
My inkling would be to grant the waiver requests as requested for the topo and the
Yep.
exterior lighting plan based
Yep.
on DPW recommendations and the representation as to what the lighting plan is, the wall packs or whatever, so that they have that done.
yep,
And then have them come back with the plan showing the landscape and whatever waiver you end up needing
for percentage.
If
for
needed,
percentage if needed, so that that's all we have to address
Yeah.
when you come back.
I guess on that, could I just, could I clarify something on that? I guess, could we, don't say no right away, but,
We know
No.
what he's gonna ask. We know what he's
if we
asking.
said conditional
You
approval
can't,
tonight.
we have to vote on a waiver request and we
No,
can't.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm saying a conditional approval if the existing landscaping meets all of the requirements, and we can submit a plan to Joanne and Patty saying that, you know, we've got, whatever, there's 50 shrubs and there's 10 trees, and to meet, you know, maybe we need to add 2 more to meet the requirement in an effort to not have to come back next month. Could that be?
I don't have a problem with that.
Could-
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
If
don't
you
have
can
a,
meet the requirement and you don't need a waiver, then I wouldn't need to see it again.
Right.
and keeping the proposed shrubs as
yes,
you have.
yes.
I don't have a
Sure.
problem with that.
Is that,
And that keeps the
And if-
September
if-
10th from
and
being
if you
too late.
decided to add more to meet the standard,
mhm.
we could also let them handle that administratively, because
I
it is,
would be okay with
it's not a waiver request anymore, it's an administrative decision at that point.
I agree.
You agree?
Mhm.
All right, so let's, open the
Start
public
planning.
hearing before we do anything else. So I'm gonna open the public hearing now. Is anybody here to speak on this application? Seeing none, we're gonna close the public hearing. Any outstanding issues, Joanne, other than this discussion about we have to vote on the waivers, and then we have to vote on the administrative caretaking. So, we'll start with the topography waiver.
I'll make a motion to approve the topography waiver, finding that where's the waiver language, it's in the prior one. The strict application of these regulations would cause practical difficulty, and this waiver does not affect the purpose and intent of the development regs.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion passes.
I'll make a motion to grant the waiver request for section 4C23 exterior lighting plan based on the applicant's representation. It's going to be residential wall pack mounted lighting, and strict application of the regulations would cause practical difficulty, and the waiver being requested does not affect the purpose and intent of the development regs.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to grant the exterior lighting plan waiver. All those any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. So now we need a motion to allow staff to handle you want to word it correctly, Barbara? The lighting, landscaping plan if it meets standards?
I'll make I make a motion to approve the plan, subject to the 10 conditions listed in the staff report, pages 17 and 18, with the additional requirement that the landscape requirement calculation be shown on the plan, and that staff can administratively process this application when the revised plan with the landscaping meets the requirements. Otherwise, the applicant needs to come back with a waiver request. Which would be September 10th. So we don't have to renotice this.
Makes sense.
I will second that.
I mean, it's just getting longer and longer.
I'm gonna be
Please,
sick.
please make the landscaping work.
And also, this is being granted with the finding that variances and a special exception have been previously granted, and this application, with the 2 waivers and compliance with the landscaping regs, is conformance in the zoning ordinance.
Well, I didn't write all that down, but I got most of it.
Well, we gotta have findings.
So, well, we have to vote to approve the plan before we can have the findings, right?
No, the findings need to be part of the,
Motion? Okay. So you're gonna read
no, I already did, I got
I
it.
already did it.
oh, you read the findings, all right.
Yeah, they're in the report, they're in the administrative report.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve the plan. Can't think of the word I want to put in there.
All those in favor?
No, when it's a conditional approval, is that what it is? Is this a conditional
Yeah.
approval or
Yeah.
a full approval?
Yeah.
Conditional approval.
Okay, motion for conditional approval of the plan, conditions 1 through 10, and allow the staff to approve the landscaping plan if it meets the calculations as set forth in our regulations, where a waiver is not required.
Right.
And you wrote the findings in, okay. So you motioned, Kimberly, you approved, seconded, right?
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, thank you, you're all set.
Thank you.
All right.
And Mr. Chair, my apologies, I need to leave
Okay.
at this time.
Now, what about our
You still have a
quorum?
quorum. You still have a quorum.
Okay,
1, 2, 3, 4.
okay.
When Mark comes back, you have the quorum back.
Okay.
And this is really simple, I trust you all to handle it without me.
Barbara, you're gonna miss the best one.
That chucklehead that used to have a break. Were you here when they used to have a break?
Meetings have breaks?
They used to have a break in the planning board meeting.
Always.
I never had a break.
I
that
For
just
like
long.
wanted-
15
like-
minutes.
Just
Yeah.
wanna get it over with.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, send his wife would bring him coffee.
Okay, clock is clicking.
Well, we have to wait for Mark to come back.
Chatting.
Joanne, could you run the next application for us?
Sure. So the next application is map 4, lots 25-4 and 25-4-1, located at 46 Siri Drive. This is zoned conservation and open space. The applicant is looking to do a lot line adjustment between the two lots. There's parcel A, which is identified on the plan. That's going to be conveyed from 25-4 to 25-4-1 and become part of 4-1. No new lots are being created. And the application is complete with no regional impact. There is one
And
waiver
they're taking this from this parcel and they're adding
for
it to this
a
parcel.
drainage study,
Oh, so this was
For-
part of the original one.
not having to submit a drainage study.
I remember when we did this.
79,
No,
not me.
we had something up there recently. Can't remember what it was. Okay, thank you, Joanne. Any questions for staff on this to start off here? Okay, we'll ask the applicant to come up, identify himself, and present. Oh, it's you again?
Do the short straw.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Charlie Farley.
And Trevor with Meridian Land Services. So yeah, I guess, big picture, we've got two parcels involved here. So the larger parcel outlined in pink, lot 4-25-4, right, in existing, it's about 31.6 acres. And then the existing lot 425-4-1 is 5 acres. The intent is to swap parcel A from the large parcel to this green parcel. Again, the area being swapped is just under 8¼ acres. And the purpose really is to put together a buildable envelope that can be easily accessed via the existing driveway that's already on the large pink parcel that you'll see on sheets 2 and 3. More so sheet 3 of the plan set. And yeah, I mean, I think you know, from what Charlie and I have talked about, the getting a separate driveway up from Sari Drive, you know, through this lot is, the topography is just, it's difficult, and there's already an existing access point that comes off the end of Sari Drive to a dwelling, you know, that's right here. And you can see on this sheet, this yellow is the existing driveway. It does kind of meander up the slope. There are existing access easements in place for the places where it crosses over into lots 425-4-2 and into 25-4-1. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of what we're looking to accomplish here. All lots remain compliant with the zoning ordinance. There's nothing proposed at this time, and which is part of the reason why the request for the drainage waiver was submitted. You know, whenever this adjusted lot gets developed, there's going to be a septic design. There's probably going to be some level of driveway plan to tie in to the existing one, and at that point in time, if a drainage study is necessary, we'll work with Scott and DPW to, you know, to get through that process. But right now we're here for the lot line adjustment as a first step. So happy to answer any questions. I don't know if
Anybody
you
have any
anything
questions for the
to add,
applicant?
But yeah.
We have to accept this as,
Yeah, we have to do an accepting here. So let's, probably miss that step, huh? So do you want to make the motion, Kimberly? Do you?
sure, we find that this is, the application is complete for acceptance purposes, not granting waivers just for acceptance, and there is no regional impact.
And we have waivers for acceptance purposes only?
Correct, waivers for acceptance purposes only.
Okay, anybody want to second it?
Sure.
Get it over with. Okay, we have a motion to find this application complete, ready to review, no regional impact, and waivers for discussion purposes only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Okay, so we've heard from the applicant before we did what we should have done, which is fine. It's late already. Do we have any, and do board members have any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I'm gonna, discuss the waivers briefly. Could you please discuss the waivers, or did you already do that, Trevor?
I did, so it was for the drainage study.
Okay, I
Just
apologize.
because-
I had to step out. My
Yeah,
leg is
jumped
killing
the
me.
gun up.
My leg is killing me. All right, so, we already did the waiver request, so I'm gonna, since we've already talked about that, I'm gonna open the public hearing. And it is 9:22. Is anybody here to speak on this application? Seeing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Let's talk about the waivers. Kimberly, would you lead the discussion, please?
I don't see any problem with offering a waiver for the drainage, since they're gonna have to come in eventually when they construct it anyway.
So are you making a motion?
I am making a motion that we accept the waiver of a drainage plan,
Grant the waiver,
grant the waiver.
okay? All right, and anybody want to second Kimberly's motion? I will.
Dave will.
I just did, beat you to it. Any discussion on the motion to grant the waiver for the drainage plan? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Are there a second waiver or just the one, Kimberly?
That's it, right? Then we're just
That was it.
accepting.
So at this point, we,
Were there staff comments on it?
go ahead and read the staff comments.
All right, I want to rescind my comment because I'm going to admit that I barely looked at this. And I thought the hatching was the lot line adjustments, but those are just
Oh.
existing easements.
I was gonna touch on that.
So I apologize. I just saw this, I was like, there's not much to it to comment on from a DPW standpoint, and I couldn't see the driveway through the hatching, so I was like, oh, it doesn't look like it looks like it might not be
Yeah, it's a
10
little,
feet.
it's a little.
So,
Yeah, it's a little
I have
hard
no
to see.
comments on it.
For recording purposes, we might have to get rid of the hatch anyway. It was
Yeah.
more of an illustrative
Yep.
tool, but.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I feel dumb now.
No. Anybody have any more questions?
Oh, it was blocked by wetlands. No.
So somebody to make a motion to approve the lot line adjustment?
Did we have staff comments? I'm sorry, you got papers. I looked at it, but I don't remember.
You need to open up the public hearing.
I already did it and closed it.
Oh, I missed it.
It was so fast.
That rabble out there is so noisy.
Were you snoring during that?
My eyes are open.
I make a motion that we approve this site line adjustment plan
As shown
based
on-
on, as shown on the plans before us, but due to the fact that we have no staff comments.
We can get rid of
Well, we do have
condition
suggestions
number
for
8.
approval. We have 9 finding.
Oh.
9.
All right.
There's
You can get
There you
rid of
go.
condition
Now.
8, that's the one about
Yeah, we
my,
Okay.
Scratch off whatever we're getting rid of. 8.
Okay, we're getting rid of 8.
Oh, and I guess on that, number 9, the square footage of both lots for the lot line adjustment, that was something that Joanne, I think you pointed out. On the version of the plan that was submitted, we didn't have a lot synopsis table, an existing, what parcel A is and where it's going.
It's now on there.
It's on this version, which
Okay.
will
Which comment was that to have that added? Number 9?
Number 9.
So we can scratch 9, Joanne?
Yeah, as long as it's on there, on the new plans when I receive them.
Well, we should keep
I mean,
it
it can-
because
it can
we don't
stay there. I
have, we
just
don't
wanted-
have that plan in hand.
I just
so we
wanted
should
to-
keep that
Yeah.
condition. Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah, we'll leave
make
it
you
in.
aware of it, that's all.
Okay. Okay, so I make a motion to approve the lot line adjustment plan before us based on the conditions for approval. There are 9 conditions, but we've removed condition number 8. The applicant is conformance with zoning ordinance and development regs, which we approved the requested waiver for drainage study. No new lots will be created by this approval.
Okay, Dave, you gonna second this one?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Motion's been made to grant the lot line adjustment request and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. You have your lot line adjustment.
Thank you.
Sorry you had to wait so long.
That's all right.
All right,
Well, that was for you.
all you planning board
Don't we have to
members,
approve minutes?
we can't run just yet. We have minutes from July the 23rd. According to the agenda, I have to have 2 sets of minutes. I guess we don't have them both here because they gave them to us at the last meeting and
Yeah, I
we
think-
delayed them.
Yes.
So I'll start with the minutes of July the 9th. Do I have a motion for the minutes of July the 9th?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of July 9th.
Second?
I gotta get to my page, I got it written down already, somewhere. How much is it written? Okay. Okay, motion made to approve the minutes as presented, Kimberly, of
As
July the
presented.
9th.
Does anyone have any comments? I don't think anyone does.
No.
No?
All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Then we have the minutes of July the 23rd. David, make a motion, please.
I I make a motion to approve the minutes of July 23.
Mark, please.
Yes, sir, second.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the minutes as presented from July the 23rd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Joanne, you passed out a supplemental standards for the zoning ordinance. Is this for us to add into our book or something?
There's a long story that.
Okay, I don't want to hear it tonight.
It's
Yes,
still
add it to
not
your book.
rectified.
Do we have to hear it tonight or can we hear it another night, Joanne? If we have to hear it tonight, we'll stay and wait for it.
I'll just give you a really quick,
Thank you, please.
when the zoning ordinance changes were in the works last year, there was a change removing the fact that you need to have ownership of an ADU, whether you live in the house. You have to live there as the owner, whether you live in the house or the ADU. You have to live on the property. And that was removed.
By
Last-
the legislature?
No, no, that was removed by the vote of this board as one of the warrant articles, but it wasn't clear in the warrant article. But it's been removed from the zoning ordinance. So somebody went to the zoning board recently and asked to do an ADU, and they didn't have enough acreage. That was the reason they were there in the first place. So they were getting, I think it was a special exception. So then the neighbors said to this person, like, well, do you even live there? You know, and it like went on from a few of the neighbors. And then the zoning board members, a few of them, pulled out their old ordinance from last year and said, oh, it's here, but then pulled out the new ordinance from this year and said, no, it's been removed.
Was that a typo?
So at first, I thought it was a typo. And so Derek had me, you know, correct the typo. But after doing some more research, I found out that it actually wasn't a typo. It was included in the not in the wording, it was included in the red line version. So this was right before I left on my leave. I put together a red line version of all of the proposed zoning changes that we had talked about so far. And that was in the very beginning of October. And then, so that one didn't have that in there. But then the next round, I think it was like around the 18th of October, it appeared, and it was in every version of everything that was redlined that came to the board. between October and your hearing. And it was in everything that you were given that was crossed out. And there was a reference in the warrant article that said, changes, it was like a warrant article that had some things lumped in for the ADU. And one of them said, and any other changes that were made to sections, and it listed this couple's different sections, and that section was one of them. And the section, that was the only change to that section, so it wasn't like it was like confused or anything, but apparently it was never brought to your attention, and I did listen to your public hearing the other day. I watched it, and there was no discussion at the public hearing about it.
So we missed it, basically.
So somehow it got in there as a change, and the voters voted on it.
So what are we doing?
So that's what I'm trying to find out, talking to Derek. He asked me to bring it to the board's attention to figure out.
Well, maybe we should just keep it quiet and vote it back in next year. Because we can't, if it was voted on, it was voted on.
Well, right, so
So
in the
we just
meantime, he had me change the zoning ordinance to put it back in, but I don't think, now, this because we thought it was an error, like a typing error. But now I don't think we can do that if the voters voted
No,
yes
it
on
sounds like we
that
have to wait a
article.
year and hope we don't have a flurry of applicants.
But
So
the other,
you're-
but,
so let me back this up. So the voters voted on a change, and that change was you did not have to own the property.
Yeah.
no, you didn't have to live there.
You didn't have to live there,
Yeah.
thank you. So, but when we discussed it, but when we discussed it, we had suggested take it out, and that just never got taken out.
No, there was no discussion about that at all.
But it was in there the whole time.
But it was in there the whole time, from like the middle of October. And,
So if we never noticed it and it went to the voters, then it's valid.
right.
That's right, that's why
But
we
the
have to
other,
wait a year now.
Right.
the downside to having this in the ordinance in the first place is that there's never going to be any oversight on who lives where. We would never know where someone lives, obviously. I think a lot of it would come down to problems with, not that this has anything to do with us, but with the financing of these projects, because if you're not living there, it's financed completely different than
All
if
right.
you're living in the units.
All right, I
So-
would like to halt the discussion and ask for a motion to adjourn. So we can go home.
I'll second.
I asked for it.
Oh, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Who's gonna second it? Dave?
Second.
Dave Pierce.
Dave will second it.
Okay, motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Oh,
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Thank you. GTV, we are adjourned. Thank you for adjourn.